Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Well, why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the DDD Experts and DDD Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
We are excited to announce Jordan Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, at D2DCon 2019, January 10th through 12th in Salt Lake City. Register today at d2dcon.com. Come as a team, learn as a team, lead as a team.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the DDD Podcast. I'm Sam Taggart, your host, and I have an amazing guest, Fredy Catota. And we are actually sitting in a hotel room in San Angelo, Texas, the most beautiful part of Texas, West Texas.
The best.
Where the wind is just so abundant, and the dust and the cow manure smells are of rich and happiness.
Yes.
Something like that.
I agree, 100%.
Oh, man, so much to do. We went jet skiing in the dirt-infested waters of Lake something yesterday.
I don't even know what it's called.
Nazareth or something like that.
Wow.
And, so super excited. These guys actually hired me to come and do some consulting for them and help build their instance of, they're one of the largest clients of Door-to-Door University so far. So super excited to kind of help support them in their journey to only better their training and onboarding process, and we got some good stuff.
Oh, man.
It's
I'm
like,
talking about fire stuff.
Fire, real life. We spent the last 3-4 days on camera. Literally, Fredy's in the car, cameraman's in the car, behind, like, hidden camera, zooming in. Like I'm all mic'd up, secret camera behind, doing full real sales to put in the university. So that'll be super cool.
It was good.
So it's been a kind of a double whammy. They get a ton of good stuff, some good training. The university gets good stuff. They're already part of the university, so it benefits anything.
Well, I think, when you're in the door-to-door industry, you want to align yourself with people who are doing well. I mean, you guys are doing great things at D2D, so why, instead of, hey, no, we don't want help. I mean, when you're in a position of power, the last thing you want to do is act like you know it all. Right?
No, and we'll touch on that. That's something that we'll talk on. So today, I'll kind of give Fredy his little warm welcome, but seriously, that's one thing that I admire about these guys over at Skyline is the investment into their people. They have Cardone U. They're building their own D2DU. I mean, you're paying for consulting. You're paying for coaches. You paid for your guys to go to DDDCon. You paid for your guys to go to 10XCon. I mean, it's like you're willing to go and invest in your people, and I see that's paying back dividends when I watch some of these guys throwing in today. It was pretty cool.
You saw today, Jake Kelly, he's running the Rise office out here, doing a great job, and a lot of the guys that we recruited, we basically gave it to them, but they came through those courses, the DDDU, Cardone U, Skyline U, they went through those courses, and, one of the, best recruits that we have so far, did 7 his first week, he's straight out of high school, right? And we have another one in Philly out with Pat Mendez, and same type scenario with Nico. So, these type of recruits come through courses that we create, you create, that help them be more successful from the beginning.
Yeah, but a lot of people, it's probably a dumb investment to train your people. I think it's dumb. I don't know why you'd do that, but anyway, you guys are a little slow, so
right.
I'm just kidding. No, so basically Fredy, he manages over, been in the industry 12 years, manages over 300 sales reps. They're the largest Brinks dealer. You've been featured on the Cardone podcast, Ed Milet. Ed Milet. And a lot of these other big influencers, and it's cool to see you guys taking names and kicking butt. And what I think is crazy is just how I've seen you guys and followed this journey over the last 3 years. I've obviously been in the alarm industry, and it's like 5 years ago, I would have been like, who's Skyline? You know what I mean? Actually, 5 years ago, Skyline was in West Texas in my turf.
That's true.
We almost got in a fight with them. So I definitely know who they were, but in a negative connotation, because it was like a battle.
It's a battle.
But so today we're going to focus mainly on recruiting. So if you're listening today, we're going to kind of go through Fredy's journey and kind of what you've done over the years, but then tie that into how you've been able to sustain the storm and how to really hit this I don't know, the bell, like what's that? Like where the momentum finally kicks in and it's like boom, exponential growth.
Yeah. We're starting to peak right now.
Starting to see the compounding interest take place. So like, you know, a big piece, if you're listening, this is mainly for guys that want to lead, guys that want to grow, guys that want to like be able to be long-time lifers, guys that want to find like the millions of dollars in this industry and like mine it for what it's worth. This is the podcast for you. So I'm super excited to have you on the show. So welcome out.
Well, we're spending a few days together. It's been fun.
I know.
Make it exciting. So very thrilled to be here.
Yeah. So tell us, I guess, who recruited you? I want to know who's the guy. Who's the guy that can say, yeah, I recruited him.
He's not even in the business anymore.
I figured. Give him a shout.
You know what's funny is so I'm LDS. So I was at church and the guy just, hey man, you want to come out and make $50,000 in the summer? I'm like, I'm in. Like that was easy. Yeah. Easiest recruit. You know. I remember meeting the manager and just going to Super Saturday or for a company called First Line, out of business now, but Thanksgiving Point out in Utah, and I remember going there and just like being like,
shout out to my First Line people.
First Line. But I remember being there in that stadium and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm not the only one. And look at all these people that are doing this. And I was just kind of like in awe, like, wow, this could be big, you know? So I was just captivated. I was kind of in the moment. I was like, man, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be an awesome experience. And I realized that, you know, for me at least, I was living in LA, and I was living in a situation where I was like, man, I want to do better. I was dating a girl that was from Orange County, and I knew that I was going to have to make some money to marry her at one day. So I knew I had to get in a better situation, and my job at the time was not going to afford that. And so I was like, all right, well, this guy, he hit me up, let's do this, and my wife, girlfriend at the time, she encouraged me. She said, yeah, I think you do good at this. She had friends before that had done it before, and they did really well. And she's like, I think you do well. So that's all I needed, just a little bit of encouragement from a loved one. And then I was like, I'm in, So I went out there and to San Diego, of all places, first office, yeah.
Wow, it's a tough market.
It was a tough market. I became one of the top reps in that office, rookie, 22 years old. I was just, hungry, But it's funny because the guy who recruited me, he recruited me. He went into sales, couldn't cut to sales, went into a technician role, and then ended up getting fired as a technician. So
wow,
he was out like in month 2. I think he was out.
We're gonna come back. Like, remind me. We're circling back on that topic,
okay? Because
I think that's something important. That's a nugget that we can extract because it has to do with recruiting. And,
oh man!
And we're gonna dive into recruiting. I don't want to interrupt your story, but make sure I touch on that.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about it was that, and I always love this experience of mine the first year because I always cherish it. Because my first year, we were getting paid $100 up front. That was it, and that's all I saw. And so my goal was to hit $1,000 a week. So my goal was to make 10 sales a week, so I can make that $1,000. But I love it because, with what people get paid today, it's almost like $1,000 you can make it in a day. So for me, it taught me discipline of hard work because I was like, well, I'm only getting paid $100. So my second year, when I became a manager out in Jersey, in New York, I was getting paid $500 a sale. So I was like 5 times more than what I was already making. So I'm like, dude, I was making this like year one, $100. So now I have opportunity to make $500. So I just used it to make, ended up making 6 figures that year, $100,000. And so I was like, man, just that what it taught me, because some people, you get paid so much and you're just like, oh, okay, cool, I'll go sell one, and that's it, But that second year really elevated my, my ambition because I was getting paid more. And so why not work more?
Exactly.
And some people kind of do the reverse, right? Where they get paid more, they work less.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what happened there? Like,
it's literally they just maintain their income.
Exactly.
You're a manager, doesn't matter. You're a rep, doesn't matter. Yeah. You get paid twice as much, doesn't matter. I'm still gonna make 6 figures.
Yeah, and it's funny. Because everyone always talks about this. He always says you're always gonna work to pay your bills.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, so if your bills are $1,000 a month, you'll work for $1,000 a month, so just enough to pay all your bills, you feel satisfied.
Yep.
That's almost complacent. So I mean, obviously in the commission world, it's different because we have a potential to make more, but it's almost the psychology of, even though we can potentially make more, we almost still have that minimum wage or that wage type
100%.
Of mentality where, oh, well, I'm just gonna stay here because this is what I know. When you are in a Ferrari but you don't get out of first gear. Well, first gear actually goes pretty fast, but still, that concept of being in a vehicle that can really take you to the next level, but not using it to its full potential.
100%.
Yeah.
So fast forward, you were top rep, you managed, you went to some other company, they went out of business.
Yep.
And then let's start off there. So this was what, 2009. You're like, I'm gonna start my own thing.
Yeah.
So and tell us a little bit about that kind of.
Well, the cool thing was, so the owner of that company that was gonna go out of business, he approached me and the other top rep, Leo Sageman.
Big shout out.
Shout out to Leo.
If you know him, like this and share it and tag him.
Leo Sageman. And he, me and him, we got along really well. We formed a company called Shield Protection. And we went into business. Like we had no idea, no clue what to do. We were sales guys. Like we weren't, business guys. It's a whole different, beast. Being a businessman and being a salesperson is two different worlds. And so, because all of a sudden now we had to hire customer service agents. We had to train them. We had to hire technicians. We had someone to train them. You had to buy your own equipment. You had to get an office. You have to get insurance. The list goes on, and all these unexpected costs. Shirts, hats, materials, marketing, signs. It's like, wait a minute. I thought
software.
I was like, yeah, software.
Admin.
I'm like,
payroll to payroll taxes.
Yeah, payroll taxes, liabilities. Wait, what happened? I thought we were
a
gonna
lawyer
make more
to write contracts.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna make more money. Ended up making less, and so I went and we did business for a couple of years, and then he moved on to a different state, and so we kind of just consolidated and said, all right, you do that, I'll do me, and so that's how we kind of figured that out. And so when I, had my own operation, I was kind of like, all right, well, I still had that ambition. All right, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna go forward and make it huge. But that it came with its own problems, and I realized I was like, man, I really just like the whole sales part of the job, like the rallying people, recruiting, the selling. Like that's really what I really like to do. I didn't really get in this industry to become an administrator. Like that wasn't my goal. Now I'm administrating people, teaching people how to customer service. That wasn't necessarily my goal, but you have to become that when you're a small company, right?
Yeah.
You have to wear a lot of hats. And so because of wearing a lot of hats, I was like, all right, well, I'm doing all this and that. You realize like, well, is this really what I want to do? I asked myself that question. I'm like, man. And so, I said, all right, well, I'm going to take more of the administrative, and I hired a recruiter to recruit for me. And then so he said, he had this game plan. I really liked it. Our first year, we were doing, 80 to 100 accounts a month, year round. So we ended about 1,200 accounts that first year. So I was like, man, this is awesome, and unfortunately, the guy wanted more money, and that whole thing unraveled and ended up doing a, in the middle of the night kind of deal, and just left and took half my team, and everything kind of shut down real fast.
And we'll talk on that for a minute.
Yeah.
Because that's part of recruiting and part of team building, and that's part of what happens.
And that's the thing I didn't understand at the time. I was like, well, he took half the team, and so naturally, what I went into, which now I realize I shouldn't have done, is I went into like just try to keep and maintain rather than, okay, well, they left, I should just keep growing, keep going, and I realized, I was like, well, that was my mistake. My mistake was just maintain what I got, because I lost that, I just got to maintain this, and that was the wrong mentality. I should have said, well, keep this, but let me add another 10, 15 guys.
Because what's the consequences of just being like, let me hold on to my few little chicks I got under my wing?
Exactly.
Like, what are the consequences that come from managers that do that?
I mean, you're living in that mind of scarcity, right? Where there will be more guys leaving, but you'll get more guys coming in. And so, in the door industry, it's a revolving door, right? Not everyone's going to stay. Some people will, some people won't. It's not for everyone. And so the consequence for that was, oh man, all of a sudden, production goes down, right? Expenses maintain, and then all of a sudden, being a dealer, chargebacks start going up. So I'm like, oh man, this is almost it's not going the right direction. Production down, admin up, chargebacks up. It's the wrong equation you want to be in, and so it really like forced my hand to make some decisions. But it's very interesting story, because that same person that had given me or done some recruiting for me also was the one who actually helped me, because before he did that, he introduced me to Edwin from Skyline, and me and Edwin kicked it off really, really fast. And when that whole situation happened, I just reached out to him and said, hey, is there a way we can work together and really build this up? And at the time, I'm sure he was like, yeah, sure, let's figure it out, But I remember telling him, I was like, dude, I want to be your right hand man. Like that was my goal. Like I was like, how do I get there? He's like, all right, well, you got to be the top guy here, And I was like, all right, well, check, right? All right, now I know my goal. I know my target, So once he gave me my target, I was like, all right, cool. First year I did, we did 550 accounts. Second year we did 1,100. by the third year, I became, the top region, and we did 4,000 accounts. And so, that happened pretty fast, and so that's when I became more in the VP role, and we really just thought about, okay, well, how can we do this on a big level rather than just on a region? How can we really do this? And that's when we got into the more influential or influencer space, and that's really where our bread and butter is now. Where we're getting a lot of people who have that state of mind of, whatever it takes, 10x mentality, max out. That's our audience now. I mean, recruiting has changed. If you're not in Utah, it's a whole different beast. Like, Utah obviously already kind of has that mentality of, like, it's expectation, right? I'm gonna go out in the summer and I'll make $100,000. Like, it's an expectation, right? Yeah. Outside of Utah, like in California or other states, it's like, first you have to convince them, like, hey man, this is a real job, right? It's door to door. I know, don't get scared, right? And it's commission, right? You're already kind of setting them up. They're like, oh, I'm almost scared, right? We have success, and you have to kind of show them, a paycheck or an award or something, so they can understand that this is real. And then they're like, okay, well, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. And then, they're not mentally ready for it, and so they end up failing. And so that's really what we've seen the change in recruiting, is finding the individuals who already have that, that mindset.
Tap into those marketplaces.
Yeah, and then just go after that market, right? Rather than convincing somebody, educating them on, because that time will come for that person, but they're probably just not ready for it at that time.
Yeah.
It'll come at some time, just maybe not now. And, whenever that time comes, we'll be ready for that.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's more, and this is like one of the main principles that I wanted to talk on, was it's this principle of attraction and making sure that people are aware, hey, we're hiring.
Yeah.
Because, you've almost branded your entire social media platform Join Skyline. Like, that's your Insta handle. So it's like, I wonder what that means. Well, it's pretty obvious. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's funny. Like, somebody tagged me in a post yesterday, and they have like, oh, I was out here with Sam Tagger, and we were working at the handle Join Skyline, and you know what I mean. And I'm like, well, that's, I guess, how else would you not, like, you're recruiting, but you're not, like, you have to. Yeah. Like, it's almost forced because your whole brand.
That's our brand. Yeah.
Your brand is that, and it's like. And it's funny, I did another podcast with Asim, and one of the things that he said on recruiting was like, you need to let the world know you're hiring.
Exactly.
He's like, if the world knows I'm hiring, then great. At least they know I'm hiring. Right. And if they're down in the dumps, or they're dead-end job, or they're not happy with their other company, or they're pissed off with their boss.
So true.
Where do they come? They're like, oh, well, I know they're hiring.
Exactly.
It's pretty obvious.
Right. And whoever has the loudest drum will get hurt, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you are not saying in their face, but if you're promoting what's really happening, then you'll get the right people. Yeah. You'll attract the right people that are ready for that.
And so I think a lot of people, and it's funny, we talked about this yesterday on our group coaching call, it was how, you're not, we talked and you were like, I'm not really that social media guy. Like, it's funny because I made a post about this the other day. I was like, guys, realize I wasn't one to be, I made fun of the people. I'm like, do we really need to know what you're eating right now? Do we really need to know you're taking a dump? Like, seriously? You put that on Instagram? Like, you want the world to know you're about to go take a dump. Like, cool, good job. Like,
not the best.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'd make fun of that. And now it's like, shoot, I'm that guy now. Darn it.
But I think it's different, though, because the content that you come out with, right? Because who wants to put out that post, right? I mean, you kind of see that type of person. You're like, I don't want to be associated with that person. But if you're putting out positive content, that should be a loud drum. I mean, there's enough negativity already in the world. Why not be the company, the person to put out something positive? Because I think in Instagram or whatever social media you use, there's a lot of negative, a lot of things going on in the world, and it'd be good to see a post. And that's why I follow companies or people that are positive, right? Because that's what I like to see. That's what I like to be about. And so if I've seen that, if we're promoting that, then we're going to attract the same people.
Exactly.
And so that's how I see it. We align ourselves with people who think outside the box, who are positive, but also have a lot of goals, and those goals need to be accomplished. And our company, we provide that.
And what are some of the things that you've done to kind of network with a few of the influencers that have helped put you into these markets that are ambitious people, that are almost like little communities?
Yeah.
Just like what I've created with DDD Tribe. It's a community.
Audience,
It's an audience. But it's like even this podcast. It's like now you're getting in front of this audience, right? You've gotten in front of other audiences
Yep.
and other audiences? Like, what are some ways that you've networked to kind of get in front of those audiences?
Well, it's interesting because all you really have to do is just send a DM. Like, it literally is that simple. Like, hey, like let's collaborate, let's do something. And if you're impressive enough to the person, they'll be like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Obviously, if they look at your Instagram account or your website, and they're like, yeah, it's not something we want to be associated with, they won't do that. But
it happens a lot, actually.
Right?
I get hit up all the time.
And what
I
do you do?
Facebook stalk them or I Insta
Exactly.
stalk them, and I'm like, nah, dude.
Exactly, right? So that's what you do, though, right? You get a DM, you're like, oh, well, let me check his profile,
Yeah.
or her profile. And you're like, oh no, that's not the direction we want to go, right? So that's why you have to have
Good, valuable
valuable content.
Clean, professional.
Yep.
It's smooth, and because that's essentially it's a resume.
Exactly.
It's,
No, it's exactly what it is.
When you're recruiting, it's like you're playing a dance. You're playing a date.
Yeah.
I'm gonna date you. You're gonna date me.
Exactly.
I'm gonna Facebook stalk you before I send the DM.
Yep.
And you're probably gonna Facebook stalk me right back.
It's just exactly how it works.
And I think a lot of people aren't aware of, okay, what pictures, what's the level of quality I'm promoting, or do I not even have anything? It's like, you have 100 friends. This guy must be really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I mean, it's just fact. It is,
Right.
and we pay attention to that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of fake accounts too. I mean, you gotta be careful too, right? Because you got someone that has 1 million, maybe not 1 million, but maybe 50,000 accounts, right, or followers, and then you look into it and they get 2 likes. You're like, that's not probably somebody that actually has an audience.
Yeah.
They say they have an audience, but not really necessarily has an audience. And so you got to be careful. You got to do your homework, right? And so for us, I mean, we've just tried to put out content that is positive. We obviously make sure we recognize our company and things we're doing. I mean, we were just talking about doing jet skis, and we got some video of that, put it on Instagram. Things like that. Of not only that though, the positive, but the hustle of what we do. Not an easy job to do, right?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know about this vehicle, and that's like a big thing that I'm advocating with DVD.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's like, oh, door to door. People still do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
And I'm sure you still get that.
Yeah,
like
still.
And it's like you're tapping into these new markets. Like, it's so funny, like real estate and insurance people and car people.
Right.
Like Mario, this stud you just hired. He comes in, car sales dude, and he's
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, like I'm so grateful. I talked with him for like an hour last night, and he almost cried because he's like, I never imagined myself doing such an amazing thing and making so much money so fast. And but the problem is if we're not all advocating this
Exactly.
opportunity in a positive way, we're not representing ourselves right. It's not like nobody knows about this.
Right.
And I think as a conglomerate, as a group, as a tribe,
Yeah.
the more we do that, the more everybody recruits.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning when you came out with DTD, or DTD, I was kind of like, what is this? Because it's just like because obviously I looked you up and I face stalked you
And I had my long hair, and
it
you're
still
probably
had
like, who's this guy with the mullet?
well, he still had like VP of Associates and all that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
hold on a second, what is this really?
He's a trick.
It's
It's a trap, guys.
And I was like, to myself, like, brilliant. This is amazing. Be able to recruit a lot. But then obviously when he got to know you and see your content and see that and especially when you had the conference, I mean, you're like, dude, this is neutral. Like I remember seeing people there at the conference and they had like their company shirt, and then like an hour later they had a regular or a DTD or
We make them take it off.
I was like, what happened? He's like, oh yeah, they made it. I was like, dang, okay, like official, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously you police it to the extent that you can. But I mean, that's when I realized, okay, he is neutral. They didn't necessarily want to promote more of the D2D rather than a company or rather than just specific people, right? And that's what I saw. I mean, that's when I was like, all right, cool. I can jump on board with this just because of that, because you're like, okay, the community, how can we help each other? Because I firmly believe, the mind of abundance where there's enough for everyone. Like, I mean, only for us in the alarm space, it's only like 24%. I mean, I think we're okay with sharing, the other percentage with the rest of the other companies, right? And for us, I mean, we'll do our thing. Those other companies do their thing. I mean, we're not necessarily the type that will try to recruit somebody and try to pull them like that. If they come to us, great. If not, I mean, we'll find people.
And so, and speaking of that, because one of the points I wanted to make was, how do you play the long game in recruiting? And it ties with this abundant mindset, right? There's so much to go around, but also being in this, I'm not like, same day install, same day recruitment.
Completely different,
yeah. But how have you played this long game abundant mindset, and how has it paid off for you over the years?
I mean, that's, one of my biggest recruits was somebody I recruited for 3 years, and consistently following up and, creating a relationship with that person. And, it took the third year to finally recruit that person. So if I wasn't persistent enough, if I wasn't thinking of a big goal, if I wasn't thinking of a long time strategy, that would have never happened, right? If I was like, okay, well, he said no, forget him. I didn't need him anyway. I mean, that's not me, number one. Is that you? I mean, if that's you, then you're really just looking for the dollar, right? You're not really trying to help somebody. You're just trying to get paid, and in this industry, like I said, we make enough that, many people can be successful. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are promoting that, and that's great. I mean, I applaud, like some of the cultures of different companies that they're doing. Like I encourage that. That's something great. That's, and for us, we want to do the same thing, but we're doing it a little differently.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like I said, there's enough for everyone, and as long as you keep that vision of long term, those people will eventually have a bad experience with that company, eventually get burned out of that industry or whatever, and then be like, hey, I keep seeing his joint Skyline everywhere, and man, we've got recruits like that. Man, I just keep seeing you guys everywhere. I just want to check you guys out.
Yeah.
What's this all about? And so, that's why, the social media platform is important to the recruiting today.
It's huge. So kind of going back to this other abundant, and I said I wanted to touch on this who recruited you aspect, because I found a lot of people, what stops them from recruiting is this fear of, well, if I recruit him and he sucks. Well, the guy that recruited you sucked.
Yes.
He then went tech and then sucked at that.
Yeah, and he got fired.
But what came of that? Because the guy that recruited him, had he not recruited him, would have never had a Fredy.
Right.
And I think this is where people, they slow down, is they say, well, I recruited 10 guys last year and 8 of them quit. And I'm like, so you're going to just quit now? Might as well just go home.
Right.
Be done.
Right.
But it's we don't think long term. Some people, they need the experience. They need to learn that they fail at a lot of things. And they need to learn that when are they going to wake up and say, I dictate my success in life in general, not just door to door. Maybe it was just a good learning experience.
Exactly.
They don't make any money. But it's it's not your job to say, I'm going to deprive them of that opportunity and the learning experience that maybe wasn't for the money, but it was mainly to learn, and then help them recruit and help them network.
Right.
And then I might find that guy. And then I might find the guy 40 levels deep. And that was my guy that's now the VP of a multi-million-dollar company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's some people think if I recruit my buddies and then they get mad at me because they quit, then, you know what I mean? Then it stops them. They stop themselves.
Right.
And I think that's another principle of recruiting that's almost even more not talked about than probably should be.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Are online reviews important for your business? Have you ever lost a deal due to a bad review on Google, Facebook, or a Yelp page? If this is you, we can help. Opinion is the easiest and most effective way to drive 5-star reviews to the review pages that matter most to you. Call or email us and mention Virtual D2DCon, and we'll get you started for free.
On that note, the other thing that I wanted to jam on was, how do you deal with some of those moments where you lose your guys? Because have you lost recruits before?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens, right? I mean, my first year of managing, which was my second year in the business, all those guys are not with me today.
Yeah.
Did that stop me from doing what I'm doing today? No. I mean, to your point, it's not for everyone, and I still have good relations with them. And my third year, of those people with me, I have some of those still with me, but not everyone, right? Fourth year, same thing. You start collecting a few guys, and it starts compounding. But just because you lose all your guys, I mean, I lost half my guys, in 2012. I mean, I could have been like, oh man, it's over. I only have half. I mean, I don't think I can do it anymore. But I compounded that really fast. Because the reason why is because that's the mentality of abundance, where, okay, well, hey, great job. People leave, right, to go to other industries or other companies. All right, hey, good luck. Hope everything works out, right? Not this mentality of no, we're not friends anymore. Don't request me anything. Oh man, that just boggles my mind. I was like, wait, you were my friend when I was working for you, and now I don't work for you, and all of a sudden we're enemies? How did that happen? He's like, well, so were we never friends then? Or was I just a paycheck to you? So that was for me, was because it happened to me my first year. Really, my regional was like, my friend and everything, like, oh, I'll help you. And then when they were going under, and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna stay here. I'm out. And they're like, all of a sudden, he was,
we're firing
yeah,
you.
I was like, you know what?
I was fired from the company I left for leaving.
Yeah.
Yep. I got fired when I left.
Isn't that quitting?
I know. I'm like,
or resigning. I guess.
I guess they want to beat me to it. I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
But you think about it, right? Like we were just friends like 5 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden we're enemies. Like why? You know, and that mentality is a short-minded mentality. Yeah. Like that's not like if someone leaves, hey, sorry, I didn't do a good enough job.
Yep.
I obviously didn't make a relationship with you. I mean, if you think it's better over there, then good luck to you. Because I know that I did everything in my power to make sure it was the way it was supposed to. And sometimes we fail. I mean, it's just, I messed up before. But because I'm playing the long run, it's more than likely that person will end up coming back.
100%. Because it's the second somebody senses a sense of short term, they want to play in a game with a leader that senses long term.
Exactly.
It's people want to play with the guy that they're like, can I count on this guy being there for me in 2 years, not just for me for 4 months,
right.
Or you know what I mean? And I think playing that game of like, look, I'm so abundant, I can play, wait 3 years to get that one guy because I'm going to play the relationship card.
Right.
I can play the game of, I'll spend money into social media and time and energy where maybe for 6 months I don't get ever a DM ever, but then it's that one guy
and
that's
changes the world,
and you're just like, oh, that 6 months paid off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
It's playing the game of like, I'm here to show consistency, because I think another piece that people don't play part of is I'm being consistent enough where I'm at versus I'm at 7 different companies over the last 7 years, and it's like, really, you're going to recruit me? Because then I'm going to have to end up wearing different hats every year. Like, I don't want to play that game.
I mean, that shows a resume.
It shows a resume.
Right. 7 companies, 7 years. I mean,
and I think what happens is those things, like the consistency, the long haul, the I lost guys, and it's like, yeah, that's part of recruiting.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's not 100% retained.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
I know, and people are like, man, if I would recruit more if they actually sold. It's like, well. And then the last principle that I want to touch on is, have you ever dealt with the issue, and this is a mindset thing with recruiting, man, I could be selling twice as many if I didn't have to spend so much time with these dinks.
Yeah.
And if you're the dinks that your manager's spending time with, realize that goes through his head.
Yeah.
He sometimes wants to be like, F y'all, I'm going to go sell, you guys figure it out on your own.
Right.
And that's a real thing.
It is a real thing, and we encounter that, here with sometimes with our managers and other companies. I've heard about it. It's not a kept secret, right?
Yeah.
It's something that happens.
And I just want
across the board.
Put it out there
It
because
happens
it's
across
important.
the board. But I mean, in realistic terms, my first year of managing, I mean, I sold 180 accounts in those 4 months, and my team did maybe 400 accounts. So they didn't do well, but that didn't prevent me from what I had needed to do, but I try to help them as much as I can. But you can only help as much as they possibly can or want it for themselves, right? You can't be the only one wanting it for them, right? And so you kind of have to find those people. In my second year of managing, the same thing, and you're finding out who's really in, who's out. And some people are okay with doing 60, 70 accounts. They're like, all right, cool. Like, it was successful for me. I made a couple $1,000 or whatever it is. And I'm happy with that. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that's your comfort.
That's you.
Yeah, that's you.
And I love you for
that's fine.
you.
Yeah, that's great, And so, but that's the mentality of, you can't just recruit 5 guys and be like, these are the 5 guys that are going to take me to the top.
Yeah.
And that's like, no. These are the 5 guys that are going to take you to that next step.
Exactly.
And then you got to recruit another 10 guys.
3 of them are going to quit.
Yeah, you got to recruit another 10 guys, because then 5 of them are going to quit.
Yeah.
And you got to keep recruiting. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was when I had my own company was I stopped recruiting, like, because we got so full. We're like, I had 5 teams going out every day, and we were one of the top money dealers, and I was just like, top 25, and so we were grinding. I had 5 cars going out every day, year round, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So we're like, you know what? Let's pause on this recruiting thing, because I think we're all right. Biggest mistake, because then what happens? There's a revolving door, right? People end up quitting, and all of a sudden they're like, oh wait. Now we got to go back to recruiting, but now this team is suffering. Oh, wait, I have to help that team now. Wait, we got to recruit though. And then all of a sudden everything gets jammed up.
Yeah.
Where if we would have kept recruiting, you're going to create a problem where you have too many recruits, which is a good problem.
It's a better
It's
problem.
better than the other one.
It's better than the other one.
Right? The other one was, oh man, we don't have any more recruits. Now we have to recruit.
So I guess then that kind of segues me into like, why play the recruiting game when you're already making so much money just as a rep?
Because that's how you build a future. You know, if you're in this long term, right? You want to build a team. You want to build more use. You want to duplicate yourself more, because that's what really puts you at a next level, right? I mean, there's two ways to make revenue, I think, in the sales game. Number one is personal production, and number two is recruiting and having overrides. You know, so that's two sets of income coming in. You know, and so, you know, that's, as a manager, I mean, that's your bread and butter. I mean, you're managing a team, making great money doing that, and then you're also personally producing, so you're making great money at that. So you're getting the best of both worlds. You know, so why not keep doing that rather than just, oh, well, I'm just gonna. I mean, there are some people that just like to sell alone, and that's okay. I mean, that's fine. Like I said, that's on them. That's what they want to do, and they like that flexibility of time. They like to do what they want to do. Fine. If that's what they see this as the vehicle for, then so be it. Make it happen. Yeah. I mean, that's, for me, I really see that as the opportunity where if you're a first year rep and you want to recruit, I mean, not only do you have to sell them on the dream, but you also have to show them a little bit of what you're doing, right? Oh, we're doing great, and you haven't sold any yet. You know, it's like, wait, how many have you sold? Yeah. Right? Let's see you. And that easier way to recruit is by having personal success.
100%. And so those are really the main principles that I wanted to kind of ask. Yeah. Like, you know, and these are like, guys, I ask these questions. If you're listening to this, it's simply because I've been there. I do it. I watch you do it. I consult companies that ask me. I coach 10 CEOs, and they always ask, like, the number one question is, I want to find that guy.
We gotta find him then.
Hey, can you just like help me find that one VP that can just then recruit, and I'll just like, you know, hang back. And I'm like, yeah, you want to just, you know, probably get a different job. I'm just like, so you're probably never going to succeed. Right. If you're just counting on, oh, I'll find that one recruit that then recruits me an entire team, that one recruit is going to take your job. Exactly. But they become the company. They become the company. That's the person that holds the cards. Right. And it's the person that can always be bringing in talent that's performing. Value. It's the person that creates value, therefore person with power, person of influence. And I promise, like, I've seen it over and over and over again, and that's why obviously you have so much influence, you have so much clout, is because you have been able to attract, bring in. I mean, I like hate Jake because I literally watch him and it's like, oh yeah, I should get that guy. I'm like, you shouldn't get a soul. Like, that guy was handed to you. Yeah. Like, you didn't do a thing for that guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, gosh, like, I never got guys just like, here you go, here's 30 guys, like, here's 10 guys. Well, I think that's crazy.
That's like the biggest difference of us, right? I know. Like, we'll give you guys, like, here's some guys, like, just because we need people.
Because you need people to lead them. Yeah. But then that goes to show, it's like, well, then there's a deficit of good leaders. Exactly. Because what if you had more guys that you felt confident to say, here's some people coming to us. Yeah. And you could say, well, who do we send them? Because we got like 30 amazing leaders that I'm really confident in. Yeah. And my biggest problem when I was VP, it was like, I was nervous sending guys to people because I'm like, I don't know if I trust your leadership, to be honest. That's true. I don't know if I trust, like, you're going to take care of them in the most powerful way. And, you know, and that's a scary feeling that you've probably been in. And it's like, if you knew, without a doubt, you could trust, like, 10 of your leaders, it would be like,
easy done.
Oh, I will open the floodgates. Like,
well, that's the thing. I think, you know, because you talk to these reps, right? Talk to them, recruit them, you sell them on the dream of what can happen. The last thing you want to do is say, like, oh man, I hope that guy doesn't mess up. Like, I shouldn't send to that guy, you know, because that guy is probably gonna mess up his experience, right? You don't want to be the guy. Oh yeah, Fredy guy, he told me I was gonna make a lot of money, I was able to fulfill my dreams and my hopes. But then I got with this manager, and I was just like, what is he talking about? Yeah. Like, was Fredy even telling the truth? You know, like oh man, that weighs on me. So I want to make sure that is a good situation for that person.
Huge, super important principle. So make sure you have the leadership to sustain the recruiting. Yep. If you don't have the leadership, be the freaking leader that it takes to make sure you sustain that recruiting. So, dude, I honestly appreciate anything. Before, I always ask one last question at the end of my podcast, but dude, anything else that you want to jam on before my last question?
Yeah, no. What I think is, you know, in the door-to-door industry, you know, in the beginning I was kind of ashamed of it, you know, and I think anyone that's listening to this who's thinking about doing door-to-door, I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? Think about it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You get no's, you get rejected, but then you really learn about yourself. We were talking about this earlier, where the person really opening that door is you, because you're giving yourself that opportunity. You're learning about yourself, or your vulnerabilities, your weaknesses, your strengths. You know, you're learning about who you really are and who you can really become. And a lot of times I think, you know, the door-to-door industry gets a lot bad rap because it's a hard job. It's a hard job.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, it's a hard job. Yeah, it is a hard job. But it's been the most rewarding for me. It's what's brought my family, you know, that peace of mind of, you know, financial success and stability. And, you know, who would have known? I mean, I would have never thought I would be in this long. You know, I've had plenty of opportunities along the way. I was like, man, this is just something I really enjoy doing, and I really feel like this is something that I can do long term. And even though I've done it for 12 years, I mean, I don't see me not doing it for another 12 years.
Yeah.
Like this is it. Like, this is my long term goal.
So you feel like it's a real job?
It's a real job.
Just
It's a real job. You don't have to clock in, clock out.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
So it is a real job.
It's a real
Like
job.
we can validate that.
Yeah, it's a validation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, you've heard it firsthand. Fredy Catota, door to door is a real job.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Yes.
No, but okay. So last question:
Okay.
if you had to give a rookie, let's say brand new first year rep, it's what, June, end of June.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna speak to. By the time this posts, it's probably August, mid July. Last couple months of the summer, what advice would you give that first year guy?
So my advice is end with a bang. You know, you got a month and a half, maybe 2 months left. Why not end on a good note? Like, end on a positive note. Like, the first month and a half, 2 months, you're learning still, right? There's a lot of things that you haven't learned before that you're learning today. And now, you know, you should be a little bit more of a veteran as far as a you know, mindset, that you know you can do your job, right? The skills are there. They should be there by this time. And now it's just a mindset game.
Yeah, it's just, can you play fourth quarter?
Can you play fourth quarter? Like, you got the skills now.
Yeah.
You can't really, oh, I don't know my pitch. You should know your pitch by now.
Yeah.
You should know about your rebuttals, your transitions, your closes, soft closes. You should know all that by now. And now it's really just about testing your mind. Like, how far can you really take this? And for me, it was, you know, like my last fourth quarter was, you know, it was really good, because I was like, man, I just want to finish strong. I had a goal I wanted to hit, which was 125 at 126. And I was just like, yeah, I got it. I was cleared, you know, and I was happy about that. And so you want to end on a bang so that you don't regret the 4 months total.
Yeah, no, and that's huge. I think one piece on that is you remember the last month. You don't remember the 3 months.
Right.
So if your last month was super solid, your retention, your, you know, thoughts going into the next year, your what you remember of the experience is much more satisfying.
Right.
Where if you end with a decline and you end just kind of like, I'm just gonna like coast it out.
Right.
The chances of you having a good next year are much lower,
Oh, yeah.
in my opinion.
You gotta end with the momentum, right? End with a bang, make it memorable. Why not? You're already there.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, you ain't going nowhere. You haven't quit yet. So
and it's like, what is burnout? Like, it's just all in your head. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you mean burn out?
Yeah.
Like, we're not running vehicles. There's no
Right.
gasoline in us.
Right.
It's like, you're still eating
Yeah.
and living, aren't you?
Right?
It's
Yeah,
like-
a lot of times the burnout is just that if you want to talk about a car, right? If you do want to burn out, right? That means you're not putting any fuel in. So your fuel is what? Your mindset. Like,
yeah, it's your mind. It's
you know, your
own head.
purpose, your goal. What are you doing? Like, what is this for? If you're not feeding that, then of course you're gonna burn out.
Yeah,
You know, so why not just
keep going.
keep going, focus on your goal. You probably haven't hit it yet if you're a rookie. If you have, great, but why not do another goal right now?
Yeah,
Like, you know, I hit 100 accounts. Okay, well, do 150.
yeah,
Or 150 to 200, whatever it is. But set a new goal and just go after it, you know? And maybe, you know, don't ever move the goal, your original goal, just move the action behind it, right?
love that.
You know, so if you're at 30 accounts right now, your goal is 125, I mean,
Double down.
double down. This is the time. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Double down.
Let's go.
Love that. Okay, so you've heard it firsthand. This is Fredy Catota. I'm Sam Taggart. And, dude, I just want to thank you for being on the show.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, you guys are awesome. Much love. Share this, like this, give it a heart or something. I don't know. Write it a review. Tell Fredy he's good looking.
Review.
Something. I don't know. Love you guys.
All right.